Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of The Bulletproof Marketer. I am your fearless host, Christopher Tompkins. We are going to be talking about some cool stuff today. It's cool for me because I'm a total marketing nerd. So, we're going to be talking about case studies. Yeah? Okay. So, not one of probably the number one topics that a lot of people are requesting, but I have been meeting with some of you on LinkedIn. Okay. Folks, love that you're reaching out to me on LinkedIn. I really highly appreciate that. Those conversations are really meaningful to me because I'd like to hear what you have to say. Because my goal is always to provide feedback and to support. So, why did I even start this podcast? I say this at the top of every show, and it's the truth. I do it to help you out. And people are thinking, yeah, you're doing this to build your business or whatever. No, I am someone that is very outspoken and I'm very direct and I like to help. So if I'm seeing a lot of people having very similar issues, guess what? I want to tell you and help you out if I have the answer. Now, I don't have the answer to everything, but when it comes to digital marketing, I have a lot of experience with it. If I see something, I want to say something. And you can tell that from all of the episodes that we have that are available on demand. You can check them out in the queue wherever you're listening or watching this, whether it be YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're at. And make sure you share this. If it's good information, share it with your friends. But also, I want to lead you to our website. I have my own digital marketing agency. I'm not saying hire us. I'm leading you to resources. So there are a couple pages on the website that have insights that would be helpful for you. There's our blog page, and also we have our TVPM page where you can look at anything that you want. We also have our services and things like that. But really, I wanted just to show you the resources that can help level up. Also, we have an AI ebook there. It's really good. I'm not cashing in on the AI craze, but how I roll is I've been seeing people using it incorrectly. So I have some tips in there, just how to look at AI through a different lens. And that ebook's available. As soon as you go to the website, there'll be a pop-up. Don't get annoyed. I'm a marketer. We use them. Sign up, and we'll send that over to you with a couple additional hints, tips, and strategies. So that's all of the business part. I'll also shout out that you could connect with me on LinkedIn. That link is in the show description here. And please, if you are going to connect with me, just make sure that you mention the show so I can have a conversation with you about that. So, one conversation I had, and it wasn't actually with someone that was a listener, it was actually someone that I'm working with. And we were talking about some of the struggles that they were having with coming up with case studies that had really great information, those proof points. Because, I mean, come on, let's talk about my experience with case studies. I freaking hate them. Why? Because I don't like looking back, I like looking forward. And as a marketer, this is one of our traits. We don't really celebrate our wins. We win and then we move on to the next project. And that's something that we innately do. Now, throw it into the mix that I'm the CEO and head strategist of a digital marketing agency, then I got no time. I don't have time to do all this analysis. And people say, well, Chris, you have a whole team of people. I don't want them focusing on me. I want them focusing on the client. So, how can I build a case study if my whole team is focusing on current and future work and I'm doing the same thing? So if you're in that same boat, which you probably are, I totally feel you. This is an issue that is crippling to some companies. Being able to, and I think there is like a systematic issue with it too, which could be that you don't like bragging. I do not like bragging. And you're probably shocked by that because I'm such a freaking loudmouth. But I don't like to brag. I'm opinionated, but I'm not going to shout out how successful we are. Even mentioning the stuff at the beginning of the show that I do around going to the website for resources that are helpful feels a little kind of uncomfortable for me. If you feel that way, you're not alone. There's lots of people out there that are in the same boat. So you could have all of the greatest success and long-term clients possible, but if you cannot quantify that and share it with prospects, they don't understand your true value, except for what you're saying to them. Because sometimes people need that little credibility boost to get closer to you so they can lean into what you're saying and engage in a real way. So case studies do help you do that. So is there a road to getting these done? Do you hire an intern or do you hire a digital assistant from the Philippines and just say, hey, I need 4 case studies? How the hell are they going to do that? Honestly, how the hell are they going to do it? You have to give them the data, but I don't have any data, Chris. This is what we're talking about. It's that vicious circle. We need them. Oh, it's on our to-do list. I got a new client taken away, or the CEO's traveling to an event. I have to get ready for that event. There's always something, right? So, what if we changed things up a little bit? What if we looked at these case studies a little bit differently? Why don't we start building case studies from now forward? Remember, I don't like rear view. And let's be honest, everyone's probably seen it, heard it. The rear view mirror is smaller than the windshield, right? Because you don't need to be focusing on that. You need to be focusing on the road ahead. Now, I'm a firm believer that you need to learn from your experiences. It's very useful for you to be able to look at what you have achieved to build future relationships and grow your business or retain your clients. So, how do you go about this? I'm going to give you my strategy. And this is a strategy that I've been using, and it's really served me well. Let me give you the results and we'll go to the process. I don't just send case studies to anybody that's looking at me. Oh, wow, I'm interested in your services. Case study. No, you got to know me first. You have to see if I'm going to gel with you, if I can help. And then after that, give you some credibility builders. I'll share my portfolio or I'll send some case studies that are relevant. What I started to do is add in these results that I was using in the case studies in different communications that I was using. Like, for example, personal emails with new prospects, or if I had a LinkedIn message that I was sending out to try to engage a referral partner, or who knows. I started using these proof points. Why? Because they were available. And then I knew that I know how to build someone up to a thought leader. I know how to build more credibility into any sort of outreach and marketing plan. So if that is true, then why don't I do it for myself? So I know that stats are really powerful because they give people numbers to start thinking with. So it's not just like concepts. See, like with this podcast, it's a little bit different than other digital marketing ones out there because I'm not talking about the late breaking strategy that everyone needs to learn and trying to debunk all the theories around it. I'm showing you that all of that stuff is great, but if you don't have your house in order, it's going to be a mess. You need to have everything ready to go. And case studies is a pivotal point because it's, oh God, I got to redesign my website. What if you had a whole list of stats that you could throw into that website? Boom, engagement goes up on that website. You can use it as a sales piece. People's lens at viewing the website internally will change because it has proof points on it. So now it's a show off point. And also, anytime that I use stats, people engage me in conversation with them if I'm selling to them or I'm talking to them. So it is a really good rapport builder because people have to do more than just like you, right? They have to like you, they have to be in tune with what you're saying, and then you got to see some proof, whether it be a client logo on your website that maybe that makes them feel a little bit safer because you worked with a large brand or someone in their industry, and then these numbers are really hot. So, how do we get there? I showed you the results, lots of really good positive things I've seen, and I've also seen from my clients when we've done it. First thing, get over being too humble, right? I'm not going out and saying, hey, everybody, we just finished this campaign. Look at these results. You're next. I- it's just not on brand for me. But if I'm having a conversation and I want to elevate my status in there, I want to use those stats. So that's when they're really useful. Let's take a look at this process. Process is pretty easy, but you have to spend a little time on it, right? So if you need to get case studies done, why aren't you getting them done? Because they're a lot of work. Okay. So why don't we look at it a little bit differently? What are you doing currently? Look at your current book of business and your current clients that you're working on or your team's working on. What proof points of the campaigns that you're currently running are impressive? Or when you are selling to a prospect or you're talking to a prospect, what proof points are the most important to you? Now, these can be KPIs, they can be stats, they can be sayings, they could be a quote, it could be a testimonial. There's lots of different things. But in this case, we really want to look at success. So, what does success look like? This is a hard part of the conversation because you have to look critically at yourself in order to really understand what is the most important. Because I could say, oh, for me, it's audience growth. And if I just say I can build you 25,000 Instagram followers in 3 months, that's a great point to put forward. Is that all they care about? No, there's other things. They're going to think about using the Instagram example. People are going to be wondering about engagement. They're going to see, did you get influencer contracts? And if so, what did those come out as? What are the video performance? There's lots of stuff. Did you do ads? What were the ads conversion rates? And so on and so forth. What's the ROAS? So if these are things that your clients are is interested in, you're probably reporting on them. And if you're reporting on them, they're good for case studies. So you just need to be baking this in to your client handling or your marketing handling. If you're working as a head of marketing or a marketing director, a company or an agency yourself, It's important to be looking at KPIs that you're constantly managing and holding people accountable to. That person could be you. You could be holding yourself accountable for the results. Say you don't track anything and you're just constantly, because I'm so busy, man. I'm just so damn busy. I have so many things going on. Why wouldn't you want to measure what you're doing? Because you have to show that it's working, right? I can make a very compelling argument for email marketing, but if I'm looking at a person's account and I look at their stats and the campaigns are not performing, that doesn't really back up anything. So I have to stay in front of it to see what tweaks I need to make, what A/B testing needs to happen, et cetera, et cetera. So, folks, the secret sauce here is that you need to set KPIs for anything that you want to write your case studies around. So find out what's important to your client. And why do I say what's important to your client? Because you're using this to close other potential clients. So if it's important to them, it's probably going to be important to other people that you're going to be targeting within the same industry or beyond. So if that is the case, come up with what that would look like. Now, when people ask me about goal setting, because I do hammer about it a lot internally at the Go agency, I'm constantly talking about this shit, but I really just feel like it helps you understand how successful you are and what needs to be communicated to the client so they understand how the campaign is running and how the marketing efforts are producing fruit. So, what I generally do as a role is any campaign that I create, I have 5 KPIs against it. Now, if it's a multi site, meaning it's like maybe Facebook, Instagram, email marketing, digital advertising, I have a set of KPIs for each one of those. Why? Because I have more data sets to pull from. So, how are you doing this monitoring? And how are you supposed to keep up with this? Number one, if you are struggling setting goals that are meaningful, you need to spend some time to figure out what benchmarks are relevant within your industry. How do you do that? There's many different tools out there that will help you with benchmarking, or even if you wanted to utilize a high-level chat GPT search or a perplexity search just to get your feet wet on where you need to go. It's a good idea. It'll kind of give you some roads that you can explore. But I'd dive in deep, dude. Don't just, oh, wow, ChatGPT gave me this number. It's going to be my benchmark. No, that's BS. You have to do some more research on that. But it's helping out. So it's a starting point. You want to find out what the benchmarks are from like companies. So if you are in the beverage industry and you have your own microbrews that you sell from a brewery that is local, you're not going to look at Coors. And I think that would be not apples to apples, right? That's an aspirational benchmark is to get, oh, I want to be Coors one day. You need to find another local brewery that you can benchmark against. Why? Because that will give you reality, that will give you sanity. Because I've met with many marketing directors over the years in my consulting practice, which I love helping people solve their problems. But one of the things I came across a lot is that I just don't know what meaningful numbers are and what am I supposed to get? How the hell am I supposed to know? I have to go and do research, much like you have to. It's not just like we know as marketers, we're supposed to know exactly what the benchmarks are for every company, size, and industry. So you do the work. Good job, gold star. Now you got your benchmarks. Maybe you want to be just to hit those benchmarks is where you want to get to. But maybe you've looked at your data and you're already past it. Then add 10% or 5% or a percentage, and then that gives you your goal. So, what I would like to suggest is that you set a goal and then you see if you need to readjust it. This is all set in front of the work that you'd be doing on any sort of campaign or initiative. So, if you've been doing email marketing in your company for years and you haven't done any of this, but you want to do a case study for the email marketing service or whatever, start today and look at the data and come up with your KPIs and move it forward. Also, you could look into the analytics on that email marketing platform and see a year spot per view and see what you think you can pull out of that. Now, the reason why I feel it's more attractive to do these case study proof points at the same time as KPIs is that you can understand the impact that they have in real time. So it does make it a realer result that then will fortify your sales process and your marketing. So I hope that lands because if you're just going through, okay, hey, Cindy, I need you to pull some numbers for a case study for me. Can you give me like a wrap up of the last year for this client on everything? Great. You're going to get a wrap up, but you're not going to know what you want to focus on. So if you have a collaborative effort there and everybody knows what the goals are and everyone's talking about them on a regular basis, they're going to be easier to report on. Also, by proxy, you're going to provide better customer service and better results in your campaigns, but you're getting results that you're talking about. So what we do at the Go Agency is it's a little different than what a lot of agencies do. And I did it because it was a client perk. So does everybody want weekly reports to review? Hell no, they don't. Does anybody want a PDF with 75 friggin' pages of data in there that they have to stop their life and read? You could be thinking they're paying me a lot of money and that this is my exchange. No, you're not thinking about them. You're thinking that I have to show that I'm working hard and I'm worth the money, but they're not reading it. So, spoiler alert, you're not proving your value at all. So, how do you get a client to lean in? You have these goals and you report against them every week. So, what we do is we have the goal set, and basically, the month, we'll do a monthly goal, and we will every week report the process towards that goal. Is it 20% to the goal? Is it met? Is it 80%? Is it struggling? And then that provides a level of transparency that a lot of clients really appreciate. And what we do, it's just the body of an email. It's no attachment. And what they can do is they can take that to their Monday meeting and they can talk about it, talk about the success of the campaign and get more people involved into it and understanding the work that you're doing. And this can happen if you're an internal person to your company. If you have something like this and you share it with your team every Monday morning, then that lets everybody know you're leading with success. So you're able to report on the progress that you're making on these major initiatives, and that will draw people's attention to those major initiatives rather than just pontificating about what your campaigns are, how everything is going swimmingly. Why not give them some numbers? Then they're going to understand what success really looks like. I know that I'm giving you a lot of different ways of using this data, but I think it's useful for you to buy into this process because I know that if I just had to create a case study after I'm done recording this podcast, I'm going to jump onto a case study. Oh my God, kill me. I hate that. That sounds miserable. But if I wanted to do a case study right now, I'd still not be really into it, but I could pull all the data very quickly because I have this done currently for all of my clients. So I can go in, get the last week's report, look at a couple weeks reports, look at the month wrap up, figure out what's going on and what would be important. I can have a conversation with the account manager on that and see what they have found that the client really responds well to. And then you create that case study. What are key pieces for this? Okay, so if you're getting into the case study situation, one of the things that I would, depending on every brand has its own voice. But let me tell you what people don't like. People don't like to read. They don't really like to read a lot. So a couple red flags for me is if you are trying to fit everything onto one page in your case study and you have a lot of words and you shrink the type, that's not great. Because you have to think about how many people are going to listen. You're going to put a lot of work into this, so you need to do it right. And it's easier to do it right the first time than go back because you're going to start putting up barriers. Like, oh, I'm too busy today. I'll put that tomorrow. Oh, then next week. I'll do it when I get back from vacation. And then you're not doing it because something else came up. So this is how I do it. I like to have it flow like a conversation. I want it to sound like the prospective clients can see themselves in that case study. So I like to try to create an emotional kind of response and not like anger or frustration or excitement. I just want to create some sort of response with the case studies that we create. So I like to tell a story. I don't like to say the problem, the solution, the result. It's usually the client, the problem, the solution, the result. You can hit those important notes, but make it easy to consume. You want to add graphics, you want to add numbers, you want to add bullets. You don't want to write it like the great American novel, because if you do, no one's going to read it. What do you do for most of your days when you have some downtime? You're picking up your phone and you're scrolling. So, what are you doing? You're skimming. You're constantly skimming all day. You're skimming your emails, you're skimming your text, you're skimming because that's how social media has conditioned us. If I'm a busy professional, you're trying to engage, and you're sending me a case study that is longer than hell and hard to consume, and I have to put on my reading glasses, I ain't reading it. And guess what? All your work's for nothing. So Make it easy to read. Make it fun to skim. Make the results large so they could draw your attention right to it. So even if they spend 2 seconds on it, they get it like, oh, they really know what they're talking about. And this is key. So things I would say I would not want to see in a case study. Small type is a big no-no. Everything crammed onto one sheet when it really needs about two. You can do it in one sheet if you're really succinct and attention grabbing, which I love. But I would say try to grow to the space that you need. Don't try to use, I need a 2-page case study. No, look at content that you have and then figure out what works best. Then I would also say try to stay away from the most important copy to be white against a dark colored background. I think white type on a case study hurts engagement and understanding and how people consume it. So I'd stay away from that. I think a testimonial is essential on a case study because basically the whole case study is talking about how great you are, right? How great your team is, how great your company is, and how awesome your services are. Cool. What about the client? I think we want to get them involved in the conversation because we need someone else to mirror our success. So we want someone to say, hey, you are killing it. Working with company X was beyond my wildest dreams, and the results were something that we couldn't achieve in 2 years. We got it in 3 months. Something like that really helps elevate the numbers and the story that you're telling. If you want some extra credit, I like someone from the C-suite commenting on the project too. So I would do a view from the CEO or a view from whoever is meaningful in that discussion and talk about the campaign that was executed and how the team and the client collaborated. Something that is key, that's truthful, by the way, not bullshit, true. And when you think about that client and that campaign, what's the first thing that you think about? Capturing that sentiment and being honest about it from an internal perspective will show a different side of you to the person that you're trying to engage. So I like that hyper personalization. Anybody that talks to me knows that. I like hyper personalization as much as we can, even though it's a pain in the ass to do it. But I do feel like it works. So now another person might say, okay, we have lots of different industries. So do I need to do one for every industry? Do I have to do one for every service? Yeah. Why not? If you're going to be doing this as part of your ongoing reporting, why not? Just seed it and give yourself a goal. So, how long do you want to run the data? Do you want to start today and then gather data through the end of the year? And then January, you can put your case studies together? I'm okay with that. It's your own schedule, right? How long do you need to build that strong case study? Because different strokes for different folks, right? Some projects last 2 years, some projects last 2 days, some last 2 minutes. So it depends on what industry that you're in, if you're service based or if you're product based or what have you. But all of this saying that starting today, you're taking the first step in the right direction to lessen your work overall and provide you some really salient proof points that will level up your marketing efforts. So when I ever talk to a company that really I can feel the tension in the conversation around case studies, this approach works for them because it is something that doesn't put the stress on the other person to perform and find things. Because what if you were never measuring? I've worked with many companies and I've have lots of friends that are focusing on working their ass off, making their clients happy, making their CEOs happy, and they're not spending a whole time looking through the results and measuring every single thing. I understand that. And that's very true with small teams with lots of stress on them to from maybe the sales team is really asking for a lot of stuff from marketing and marketing doesn't have an opportunity to perform on certain tasks because they're next level tasks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if that is true, this approach is great because you can start doing this now and then you can set expectations. You can tell people the case studies are coming. We're running the data over the next 3 months and we're going to have some really killer case studies come early next year. Whatever makes sense to you. But I think if you are overworked and case studies seem to be too much, this is the little bite-sized version that will help you go forward. They're great to add into a conversation or sprinkle through your website for marketing materials, but also they help hold the team that's delivering things accountable. So you're fully accountable. So you're going to be able to look at your results every single week. That's pretty cool. And then everyone's going to see what the results are. That's doubly cool. And then your client's going to be fully in the view as well. That's a win. And a lot of people look for 2 wins. I look for 3 because in my world, in the agency world, we have a few wins that we need to make, right? I think it's really important to Look at case studies not as something that must be done, but something that is being done. Does that make sense? So you're thinking about it's an active project, and this should be an active project at all times. So, what do you do if your team does not want to report or they don't want to really measure anything? What are they hiding? And I hate saying that, but I always find that anytime when measurements are not being done, there's accountability issues. So I'm not saying it's a systemic issue that you must look at, but at the same time, yeah, I would take a look at why, because everybody can do this. And also, you can gamify this as well if you're going to be doing this for staff, and you can provide bonuses based off of meeting goals. And there's a lot more to it, right? So you can look at this task that's absolutely soul destroying and make it into something that brings your team together, that proves your worth to your client, and helps you close more business. Hello? Why would you not want to do that? And you're just going, it's one more step in your weekly tasks. I'm going to stop beating the drum here, but I wanted just to share this with you because I know that there are so many people out there that are really trying hard to get the case studies done and they're just not getting it done. So this approach help you take it bite size, make you be forward looking so you're not looking at the rear view and trying to disseminate past things. And let me tell you, one of the results is going to be that after you do this process, you can go back and look at old clients and it's going to be easier for you to do this. So that's it. I'm getting off my soapbox. Sit with this for a little bit. Think, see what you think, and let me know what feedback you have about this approach. You can connect with me on my LinkedIn profile, which is at the bottom of this description. And let me know what you think. If there are future topics that you want me to cover on an episode of Bulletproof Marketer, I want you to reach out and tell me. So please let me know. I have done this quite often with you already. So keep it going. I love helping out when I can. And then again, visit thegoagency.com to get that free AI ebook and check out the articles. And if you need anything else from me, just give me a shout. Okay, legends, this is Christopher Tompkins for the Bulletproof Marketer, and I'll see you on next week's episode. Take care, everyone.